Greetings, all of you, my dear sisters and brothers and my dear friends. A warm welcome to all of you from your Pastor Yeti. So, we are starting our second week, and this week we'll go through the Genesis 3 to 11 warning, and we start with our Monday story. Warning: do not eat the fruit of this tree. If you do, you will die. Such an odd warning. What was the big deal about the fruit of that tree? It didn't look poisonous. It looked pretty good, actually. But God made this huge deal out of Adam and Eve not eating this particular fruit of this all particular tree. Apparently Adam couldn't figure out why God said what he said. But he knew God meant what he said. So Adam told Eve it would be best to not even touch the tree. And she probably would have been okay if that serpent hadn't shown up asking all those questions. Did God really say that? Do you really think you'll die? Why do you suppose God said that? All those questions and no sufficient answers. That's when the doubts began. Maybe he didn't really mean it. The more I look at it, the better it looks. Maybe God is insecure and manipulative. Maybe he doesn't really have our best interests at heart. He's not even here right now. So come on, let's just try it. In that moment, the whole world started to come unraveled. The hook was set, and they swallowed the bait, and nothing would ever be the same again. Sin, which before only existed in theory, was now a reality. Work was hard now and frustrating. Childbirth was painful. Their relationship was strained. Adam seemed distant, preoccupied with other things. Eve seemed clingy and needy, almost desperate for his attention. God was still there, but it was different. He pursued them, but they found themselves hiding from him, terrified at what they must look like to him, frightened that one day he might decide he'd had enough and wipe them out of the place of the earth. Possibly the worst part was what they saw in their children right off the bat. The kids seemed to be luring away from God. Away from intimacy with others, away from their own best interests. They seemed bent on their own destruction. Sometimes they did the right thing, but it usually seemed forced. It didn't seem to come naturally. And then the grandkids came along, and sin started to spread out wider and wider. More and more kids growing up to be worse and worse, plotting new ways of doing wrong, even working together to rebel. The hook Adam and Eve swallowed appeared to have burrowed its way even deeper into their offsprings. It started as a seemingly harmless act. They just ate a piece of fruit they weren't supposed to eat. And some kids were killing kids, swearing vengeance, taking multiple wives. It was as they lacked the ability to restrain themselves, until every thought was only evil all the time. Finally, God had enough. He decided to wipe the slate clean and start over. He found one guy, Noah, who seemed better than all the others, and then he flooded the earth, saving Noah and his family. Yet as soon as the water subsided, Noah planted a vineyard, grew some grapes, made some wine, got drunk, passed out naked, embarrassed himself and his sons, woke up, and through his hangover maze managed to curse his unborn grandchildren. Whoa, gosh, what a mess. With just one act of disobedience, God's beautiful creation became, fill it in, family torn apart by violence and deception, brokenness, frustration, alienation, fear from that first bite. These have ruled the roost, and no matter how hard we try, we cannot rid ourselves of this awful hook that set deeply in our hearts and minds, corrupting absolutely everything. Warning: do not eat the fruit of this tree. If you do, you will die. Such an odd warning. Apparently, God had his reasons for posting it. I want to remind for new people who come in this new devotional study. We know as we go through the narrative story, we really have to know that study about the history and study about the stories. God is using these stories to bring us in our lives to an awareness. We really don't know how it was between Adam and Eve and how whatever was filling in, because the Bible, that part of the Bible in Genesis, never explained or did go much deeper in that narrative story. For those who coming new in, maybe go to the first week and listen what is really the meaning of this devotional study. Tomorrow we're going to go to our beliefs. Blessings to all of you, my dear ones. This is your Pastor Yeti. I love you guys. Bye.